Hello everyone, Ace here, and today let's talk about some recent news regarding Ready or Not. But before I get into that, for those who already know what's going on, here is Void Interactive's email, and here's a formatted message that I'll be leaving in the description below for you to use. And I must ask that anyone that is willing send this email to Void Interactive, or if you want to create your own email for them, but of course by no means should you harass them. This is just an email campaign to get them to correct a mistake that they have recently made. But for those who want to know more about what's going on, I have to first talk about that particular hive of scum and villainy that is Kotaku, and how the walking pestilence known as Ethan Gack decided to write an article titled "Controversial Steam Bestseller Ready or Not is an Unsettling SWAT Fantasy," in which he tries to argue that Ready or Not is alt-right fascist propaganda, and tries to make this argument because the game has a vitamin pill box that says "Feels Good Man," as well as another box of pills titled Red Pills, with the phrase "noggin joggers" on the side of it. Now, of course, anyone with a fully functioning frontal lobe, i.e. anyone who isn't a far leftist, would realize that this is a slang phrase for brain teasers. However, the lobotomite that wrote this article somehow came to the conclusion that noggin joggers is actually a racial slur against black people. As you could probably tell by now, this is a garbage smear article written by a garbage smear merchant. But unfortunately, it was apparently enough to provoke a response by Void Interactive, and thus they decided to release a statement. In this statement, they go on to provide the usual defense of them not being bigots and also not tolerating intolerance, blah-de-blah-blah-de-blah, so the statement is pretty cringy, admittedly. However, credit where credit is due. Once you get further into the statement, there are a few interesting things said, such as the fact that this statement at the end openly calls out Kotaku for being fake news, and also the fact that they went on to demonstrate why the things that are being pushed as somehow hate speech aren't actually examples of hate speech, effectively demonstrating that the people making these claims are liars. And here's the thing, had their statement just been them calling Kotaku fake news and then explaining why the people that are complaining are lying hacks, I would be celebrating this statement right now, as would the vast majority of people, I am sure. Unfortunately, Void Interactive then went on to make the major mistake of stating that while the level props in question were not actually problematic, that they will still be removing them. So they effectively called the activist journalists out for being fake news, demonstrated why they were wrong, and chose to bend the knee to them anyways. And this ultimately is why people are upset. However, I believe that not all hope is lost. I believe that there is still a very real chance to get Void Interactive to change their mind on this decision. You have to remember that Void Interactive is a small indie studio who is fully aware that their survival as a company depends upon the support of their fandom. And also keep in mind the fact that Void Interactive knows that Kotaku and the activists are in the wrong. I believe that this email campaign will have the desired effect if enough people get involved in it. A very similar situation happened before with Ion Fury, and after pressure from their fans, yours truly being among them, in a similar email campaign by the way, they did ultimately reverse their decision. We've done it before and thus we can do it again. Let's make more noise than the journalists themselves could ever dream. Let's become the loudest voice in the room, and let that voice be to keep those level props in. But as I've said before, this will not be a harassment campaign. We should be cordial but firm in our resolve. And for those who are wondering whether or not this game is even worth the effort of an email campaign, I will say with absolute confidence, as someone who has played this game in both alpha and pre-alpha states for multiple years now, that even now as an alpha it is one of the best games in recent memory, and it has the potential to become one of the very best video games ever made, period. But in order to ensure that this game reaches its full potential, we must make efforts such as these to ensure that the woke cancer does not infect it. So I will end this video by once again imploring you to please join this email campaign and help me save Ready or Not.